Hello, good morning and welcome to the show. My name is Etoma Edu and today our set is balanced.
Guess who is back?
My name is Veronica Danikwe and it's good to be back on set. So
Absolutely.
it wasn't balanced up.
No, it wasn't balanced. It was all hardware.
Software.
It was all hardware, no software. Yeah.
Thank you so much for joining us this morning. I'm Ibrahim Shita. No Monday blues. Even though we're on blues anyway.
Interesting. It's good to be back.
Veronica.
It's good to be back here. But I've been monitoring and seeing what you guys have been doing, and it's been good. It's been interesting.
The first question I asked you when you came in was, did you do something crazy? Because that's what I would do.
It depends what crazy is.
For
in
example,
the context.
for example,
what might be crazy to you may not be crazy to me.
Okay, like you go to your room and stay there for 2 days.
It's
That's crazy.
possible.
That's very crazy.
No, I enjoy it.
I can stay 1 week in the room without being out.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
But she went to the Maldives.
Oh, she did? Okay.
Okay, anyway, let's get down to business. Now, Chairman and Chief Executive Officer of NDLEA, Brigadier General Mohammed Buba Marwa, retired, has raised concerns over the growing attempt by drug trafficking organizations to hire white ladies and foreign nationals to move illicit drugs through the borders. We have details in this report.
Operatives of the National Drug Law Enforcement Agency have intercepted a 42-year-old Indian lady at the Malam Aminu Kano International Airport with 72 parcels of heroin packaged as chocolates. The consignment, weighing a total of 11 kilograms, was recovered after a thorough search following credible intelligence. The search was carried out during an inward clearance of Qatar Airways from Bangkok. Chairman of NDLEA, retired Brigadier General Buba Marwa, stated that the arrest signifies a growing attempt by drug trafficking organizations to hire white ladies and foreign nationals to move illicit drugs through the Nigerian borders. In another operation in Kano State, NDLEA officers arrested a 45-year-old suspect with a 50-liter steel gas cylinder. The agency says, based on credible intelligence, welding tools were later used to cut the giant cylinder, after which 50,000 pills of Tramadol concealed in it were extracted. Similarly, a female suspect was arrested with 424 bottles of codeine-based syrup in Lagos State.
This is quite it has become a worrisome trend. In 2021 and 2023, the NDLEA nabbed some drug cartels, about 21 of them, somewhere in the country, foreign nationals who have been carrying out this business. It shows the complex nature of what we are seeing happening with regards to drug trafficking. Nigeria being the transit point, and this persons exploiting, like we rightly said in the report, our porous borders to make Nigeria that transit point where they can move their drugs, illicit drugs here and there. It's quite worrisome, and I think that it's high time we begin to look at what we can do to addressing this issue.
And one of the arguments is that once the person is white, our security operatives do not thoroughly search them the way they will search the blacks and all that. But that's somebody saying his or her mind. The worrisome thing for me is that Nigeria has been designated officially a drug route. That's why all of them are using it. You know, and you see how our boys are behaving nowadays. Somebody will be standing on the street and is sleeping because of the whatever drug he has ingested. It is getting really bad, and I want to thank NDLEA for being proactive, yes, concerning this issue. The drug menace is getting worse every day.
So one can only imagine what it had been for the Nigeria's fight against drug trafficking before we had General Buba Marwa, because there is hardly any week we don't get this report of people being arrested, being nabbed for trafficking drugs and all of that. So the fact that, I guess the idea is they feel we do not necessarily check the foreigners, especially those
Like
who are
you mentioned.
white-skinned.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yes.
We don't necessarily check them, and we think, yes, they are good persons, or we give them the respect, even though they don't respect us. So they're not using that opportunity to bring these people, I mean, use them to traffic drugs and all of that.
Yeah.
So you also mentioned the issue of zombies on our streets. If you go to California, go to New York, you find
them as well.
some zombies on the streets. So it's kudos to the NDLEA, but they also need to intensify, this drive against of their fight against drug traffickers.
I think it's not just the NDLEA, because even recently we saw the EFCC also talk about somewhere on the island here in Lagos, where some group of persons who were foreign nationals were caught involved in crime and criminal activity. So there's been an increase of foreign nationals carrying out criminal activities in Nigeria. And I think that the National Assembly needs to begin to look at what can be done to, addressing the influx of these persons. Yes, Nigeria is that fertile soil or that bride that you want to just take advantage of. But then when we are now seeing the negative sides to you saying you want to come and invest in Nigeria, you want to come and help us, then we need to check your activity, because even look at mining, we see them also taking advantage of Nigeria. So it means that there is that gap that we are not addressing, and we must begin to look at it.
For me, they have tagged Nigeria as a country where enforcement of the law is very lax, So if you want to do business, especially drugs, with Nigeria being a designated drug route, Nigeria should be the place you should go to. And then other people get involved in all sorts of things here in Nigeria. It's sad, but
it's sad. It's really unfortunate, but like we have said, kudos to the NDLEA, but more needs to be done for all agencies, and the National Assembly sitting on top of these issues where we find foreign nationals taking advantage of the country and its resources. Let's